According to the American Heart Association, heart disease is the #1 killer of women, killing one woman about every 80 seconds. One Kansas woman and heart attack survivor is sharing her story in hopes of saving others. Joining us live now is Sabrina Robinson. Sabrina, good morning. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, the day of your heart attack, it started out as a typical morning for you. You were getting ready for work. Your son was with you. He was 6 at the time. Your husband had already gone away for the day. So tell us what you experienced.
I actually woke up and felt completely fine. Showered, was getting ready for work like I normally do. Pardon me. And I really got very hot and very nauseated. So I just kind of laid down thinking it would pass, and probably over the next couple minutes I had pain in both of my arms that eventually went up through my neck into my jaw. Not honestly a lot of chest pain to start with, but it eventually ended up that way, and some shortness of breath. So I just knew that I didn't honestly know what was wrong, but I knew it wasn't right. So I called 911, and I did end up going to the hospital shortly after.
Well, what did doctors tell you about your particular situation in your heart attack?
So I was 36 at that time. It's been almost 7 years ago, and I came in. I was treated actually like a normal person having a heart attack, and was given some blood thinners and things like that, and was taken to the cath lab. And upon doing the heart cath, it appeared that I didn't have any plaque in my arteries. My arteries were actually clean, but I had a dissection of one of my main coronary arteries, and was not getting appropriate blood flow where it needed to be, which ended up followed by emergency bypass surgery the same day.
Wow, 36, that is so young. Looking back, were there any warning signs that you may have heart disease?
A couple days before that, I did have a little bit of ache in my chest off and on, but it honestly wasn't anything that really got my attention that I thought needed to even be followed up on. I had to maybe for 5-10 minutes, and it had gone away, and then the day after that I was fine, and then the day after that is when everything happened. So it turns out I have a connective tissue disorder, which really is asymptomatic until something like that happens, unfortunately. So however, with women in general, you know, you can present with back pain or just nausea, vomiting, arm pain. There's many different types of signs for women typically than there are for men.
Well, and yeah, you just shared some of those signs. What do you want people to take away from your story?
I just would like for people to advocate for themselves, especially women. I was told that morning that I was likely having a panic attack, that it was anxiety, that I was too young to have any heart problems. And I agreed. I was 36 and I didn't have any other health problems. However, I knew that it wasn't anxiety and that something wasn't right. So I was pretty insistent to go to the hospital, and I am a nurse, thankfully, and stayed persistent with them. Or I think if I didn't know any better, I just would have stayed at home. And had I just stayed at home, I would have died in my house that day in front of my child. So it worked in my favor to have a little bit of knowledge about it, but that's not the case with everyone else. So I just like for people, if they feel like something isn't right, just be persistent. If somebody isn't listening to you, you know your body better than anybody else does. So if something isn't right, advocate for yourself.
Very important. You are your best advocate. Sabrina, thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing your story with us. And you can see more about Sabrina's story on the American Heart Association of Kansas's Facebook page. They also have information including symptoms of heart attack and stroke, and you can find that at heart.org.